Hi, guys. Okay, my microphone is on. Hi, everyone. 2 minutes early. Oh, yeah, I already started reading some of your comments. And yeah, we're going to talk about everything that's going on in the trucking industry. I'd love to answer any of your questions if you have any. Yeah, it's craziness what's going on right now, but let's wait about 2 more minutes because I was supposed to start at 12 Pacific. And then we'll start going through comments. Um, and in the meantime, I'm just taking a look at what the hell is happening with volumes because, yes, I agree, volumes are absolutely insane right now. Have two phones going. Let's see if I can just mute everything. Okay, this one's muted. Ay, ay, ay. What is happening to the trucking industry? All right, you know what? Let's start going through comments so that I don't fall behind like I usually do. Looks like Highway is starting to allow trucks ELD exempt to sign up. Interesting. I don't know because we are not ELD exempt, but that is interesting. The market is tanking. What's happening, flatbed in particular? Definitely, yes, the market is very difficult this week. In particular, I noticed that the volumes are just not there for flatbeds. That's the only thing I can speak about from experience. There are no volumes, and I have had one truck that I kept in arguably the best areas relative to the rest of the market, which is like Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. Um, yeah, there are no volumes. There are no volumes. So I started looking at what's happening and I'm going to share what I have found so far. Well, actually, let's go through it right now. Now, this is for all equipment types, obviously. Tender volumes, full truckload. Detroit, Michigan actually saw an 8% increase year over year. Houston, Texas, year over year, the volume, full truckload, is down almost 21%. Los Angeles down 26%. Elizabeth, New Jersey down almost 24%. Seattle, Washington down 22%. Savannah, Georgia down 44.5%. It is insane. Now, week over week, same thing. Like Detroit, Michigan down almost 9%. Los Angeles is down. Elizabeth, New Jersey is down. It's craziness what is happening. For sure, craziness. Um, Greed. Yeah. Flatbed rates and routes have crashed out of Houston. Yeah, extremely difficult to get out. Been there 2 days. Yeah, again, Texas, I don't know what happened. I actually posted on X about it. I think, when was it? 2, 3 days ago. I had a truck in the Fort Worth Dallas Fort Worth area. And once I put in the filters, as in, the weight, because it was a step deck, the step deck was there. It cannot haul 48,000 pounds. It's just not possible. Once I put the limits on the weight, 47,000 and less, once I put in a normal gross income, which is, $1,000 per day or more, yeah, 23 loads. 23 loads. It's unbelievable. And that's out of Texas. Hola. It's the worst I have ever seen it. Yeah, and there's a lot of confusion about it because a lot of articles came out saying last week that, oh my God, spot markets are surging. It's despite the volumes going down. And that's true in certain cases, in certain areas. Like there was this one guy who posted a screenshot of dry van rates, and I don't remember, they were very short miles. I think it was out of Pennsylvania going to the Midwest, and it was like $6, $7 per mile. So there are areas where rates might increase. But what's really confusing people is how is it possible with the ELP requirement, with what's happening with non-domiciled CDLs, with the fact that they're getting downgraded, how is it possible that the market is crashing? And that has to do with with several things. Number one, non-domiciled CDL holders who no longer qualify under this new rule, they're not going to leave all at once. I think I said it already in a video. They're not going to leave all at once. Some of them are getting downgraded. Some of them are up for renewal and they're not getting renewed. But the bulk of non-domiciled CDL holders, they're still driving. Number two, it's the volume. The volume has completely crashed. Now, for flatbeds, this is not season. I mean, it's not the season for flatbeds right now. For reefers and dry vans, I mean, we're coming up on the end of the year, so volume should increase seasonally speaking, but yeah, it's very frustrating. Bought a 99 last July ELD free. You guys said when Trump got in office, rates would skyrocket, diesel would be $2. What happened? I'm not going to answer that question because I try to keep politics, and I'm actually going to say it right now. I have absolutely no issue with you guys sharing your views on the climate or on the political situation. I think it's important for everyone to be able to share what they think. The reason I don't is because I feel like this channel we all have something in common, and that's trucking. So that's why I stay out of it. Happy Friday. Hi, Cuba. Happy Friday. Can you start doing tanker data? I'd love to, but there is no specific tanker data out there that I have found to do the data on. But yeah, there are a lot of equipment types. I mean, a lot of requests for box trucks, cargo vans, hot shots, tankers, hazmat specific. I can't, unfortunately, because there is no data. It's like the data is divided into reefer, flatbed, dry van, and then specialized. And specialized can be so many different things, and it's not categorized. The industry is going down the drain. It's definitely tough. It's definitely tougher than before. And I was trying to actually yesterday, I was trying to remember, have I ever seen it this bad? Have I ever struggled this much? And I couldn't remember. Have I not? Hi. My trucks have been parked since July. I'm not pulling anything for $2 a mile. Yeah, I'll tell you this. This week has been a complete nightmare booking loads. Absolute nightmare booking loads because because of the lack of volume. However, what ended up happening is I just had to work for longer, wait for longer, and at one point or another, a load would come out that paid pretty well. A few days ago, we did a load for over $4 per mile, which was really, really good, but it's luck. That was just luck because the majority of loads pay like crap. There's no volume. The funny thing is there's also not a lot of views on loads, but brokers are not increasing their prices. So majority of loads pay like crap, and then all of a sudden one load that's unlike any other comes out. This is the story of my life. That's how I've been working in this bad market for 3.5 years, is waiting for that unique load to come out and pray to God that I'm going to be able to grab it before anyone else does. But yeah, in general, terrible. Thank you, Malik. I appreciate it. If you're stuck for 2 days in Houston, change your dispatcher. No, I can confirm. I don't know about Houston, but I know I haven't had any trucks in Houston for a while. But in Dallas, it was very difficult. It was very, very difficult. Dry van dead. See, that's interesting because, again, I think in certain areas it got better, and then in others it got worse. There is no like blanket improvement for any equipment type from what I see. What is with all this hatred to first generation of immigrants and trucking industry? Again, this is more of a political question, and I try to stay neutral on my channel simply because simply because I think we all have one thing in common, that's trucking. In terms of the temperature of the conversation, I think everyone's just exhausted at this point. Everyone's exhausted. It's been three, how long has it been? 2022. February of 2022 is when it started. The market started tanking. It's almost been 4 years of absolute nonsense in the market. Hello, it is also pretty bad for dry vans also. Yeah, see, again, some people post that, oh, it's fantastic, and then other people are saying that it's horrific. Again, I think it's just certain areas. Zero volume. I agree. Absolutely. Hi, Ron Smith. Always good to see you here. I parked my truck and driving a company truck, hazmat tanker. I've grossed 95K since March, more than I made as an owner operator last year. That's amazing. Used truck prices are down. Yeah, they will be, because we have to also remember that those trucks, the inventory is theoretically going to go up, right? If more and more people are getting their CDLs downgraded, they are putting their truck up for sale. So used truck prices should go down. People want legal immigrants, not illegals, who undercutting rates and hurt everyone. We all know someone who comes from a lower income country will work for less than an American trucker. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah, speaking of, I had someone asked a very interesting question about how is it possible that those, I mean, there are different types of immigrants, right? There are immigrants who are who come here legally. There are immigrants who come here and cross the border illegally. And someone asked a very interesting question on X. How is it possible a person with no status in the United States, means they don't have paperwork, they're getting financing for trucks? And I actually dug up, yeah, there are banks who use an ITIN instead of an SSN. And an ITIN you can get regardless of immigration status, according to the IRS. Hi, Vadim. Trucking coffee. Hello. Hi. Yeah, so I answered that already. Unfortunately, I don't have that data to show. I would love to. If I could, I would absolutely love to. And if I find it, I will absolutely add it. I think this is the end for most of the carriers, owner operators. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that this is unsurvivable. But a lot of people were saying this is unsurvivable for 4 years almost, you know? Yeah, the market is doing something crazy at the moment. I want to dig into the data once I have a little bit more free time, because this week has been a tsunami of crap. But once I have a little bit more free time, I want to dig into the data and see why the volume is going to such crap. You know, I'm ELD exemption and I hate highway. Yeah, a lot of people do. I'm also not a fan of them, just simply because they cross boundaries of personal space and privacy. That's not survival, that's elimination. Non-domiciled CDLs getting downgraded makes me happy. A lot of people are very excited about it. Why haven't you done the numbers for the week? What are the gains and losses? As I said in my short, I didn't have time. And again, something to remember is that YouTube, as much as I love it, it is a hobby, right? So sometimes I try to be very, very strict with my schedule, and I try to put out videos every week. And I always try to make those market updates at the end of the week. But market updates, especially since I have put in the rate per mile map, they take about 2.5 days for me to create, to crunch the data. And this week, my primary job, gave me something to worry about, basically, and something to work on. And also the tax extension. People who were on the tax extension, the deadline was 2 days ago. So yeah, no market update this week, but next week I promise. I hate highway. Me too. I'm getting out of trucking to go to diesel. mechanic training? Do you think it's a good idea right now? So interesting thought, because I was just looking through TikTok, and it feels like, at least what I'm gathering, is that a lot of folks who, and we're going to go back to this non-domiciled CDL rule, a lot of folks who have lost their CDL already, they're going into the mechanic training or something to do in trucking, just not the driving part, or they're going to Uber, Lyft, whatnot. So at least the way it seems, is that there's going to be a lot of people who want to be in that sphere. So I don't know about what the competition will look like. Should I open a new company now, or is it time to wait? On one hand, I really appreciate this question. On the other hand, like, I don't want to be one of the things I mean, I have gotten used to it, but people call me a Debbie Downer because I report on the market, and the market is crap since I started reporting, since I started this YouTube channel. No, I would say you have to wait. So I'm going to just tell you as it is. I think you have to wait, because right now I mean, you would think theoretically that the market would be on the rise, but what is actually happening is insane. There is no volume. There is no volume, and brokers are still as picky as ever. There is still, so when you open your own company, you're opening a new MC, and brokers are still very picky about who they work with, which means that if you have a new MC, no inspections, they are likely to say, hey, we can't work with you until you have, 90 days or a year, sometimes a year-old MC. Yeah. So I would say wait a little bit, but keep your eye on the market. Right now, it's scary what is happening. I'm seeing less container trucks from Mexico. I am somewhat close to the border of California. Yes, I actually read something about it. There was a visa hold, a work visa hold. I forgot which visa it was. And FreightWaves reported that the volume of capacity has decreased because it is so hard to get that work visa now. That's what I have heard. The tariff is hurting the economy so bad. So I did take a look again. I want to research a little bit more, but if we go to Sonar, they're called the Trade War Command Center. If we go to Sonar and we take a look at inbound ocean volume by port, what we can see, and I'm going to read you the month-over-month numbers, okay? Port of Los Angeles saw, this is this is in TEUs. Those are 20-foot containers, right? Imports. Port of Los Angeles is seeing 18% less volume than this time last month. Port of New York, New Jersey down 5.34%. Port of Savannah down 9%. Everything is down. The biggest decrease was in the Port of Los Angeles, 18%. Port of Newark and Port of Oakland, New Jersey and California down 13, 14%. Everything is down. So yeah, the imports are down. It takes time to process and update the system with multiple factors happening all at once. Having a daily or weekly, for that matter, data on capacity is unrealistic. Some of the data is backlogged and some are still being processed. Excellent point. That is really, truly an excellent point. The data is lagging. And also, I would argue, sneaky, I would argue that the change in the market is not going to be so obvious so quickly. But one thing that I will still stand by is I see what I see. Volumes on the spot market are just not there anymore. That is the big question that I have. I want to figure out why that is. Like, what are the factors? Do you think November and December will be better? In my experience, at least for flatbeds, November and December are not great months because it's not the season for open deck trailers. However, from what I remember with reefers and dry vans, Christmas, New Year's and towards December, capacity starts leaving because a lot of people go on holiday. So usually rates, I mean, statistically, if we look at history, rates go up in December, especially towards the end of December. Volumes also start increasing in November and December. Shippers are trying to get their end of year numbers. So this is historically. This year, I don't like to predict because the market is very unpredictable. Things that you would think should happen, logically speaking, they're not, and opposite things are happening, if that makes sense. But historically, yes, it gets better, especially for dry vans and reefers. Hi, Miranda. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Any updates on the non-domiciled CDL issuance? Thank you. Yeah, so I can't say there are many updates, but again, I keep tabs on what is happening in the world, basically in the United States, what people are saying. And a lot of people are getting calls now from DMVs, at least from what is being reported, calls from DMVs saying that your CDL is being downgraded. Some people, as states conduct internal audits, some people are getting letters saying that there's an issue with your CDL, come in, and when they come in, their CDL gets hole punched and they are issued a temporary Class C license until they get their actual Class C license. Medical cards are a very big thing right now in California. If your medical card gets downgraded, sorry, my apologies. If your medical card expires, what usually happens, you go right before the expiration and they send a new medical card to the DMV electronically. If your medical card expires, your CDL gets downgraded automatically, same day. So what ended up happening is now folks who have a medical card that is expiring, they go to get it renewed and the DMV is not accepting it. Their CDL gets downgraded and they cannot renew. So this is what I'm hearing. I'm also hearing of a lot of people who have not received any calls, no letters. They're still driving until their renewal date or until their CDL gets downgraded. This is what I know. Oy, we only have one truck. Oops, we only have one truck, which is a flatbed. We have 6 months of authority time. I've spent the last 2 weeks in Texas and have done well. We try to keep our rate at least at 1,400 per day. Got it. Well, yeah, I mean, you know what's funny? When I posted that there were only 23 loads for a step deck out of Texas, someone said, no, there are like 72 loads on DAT. And then when we looked, yeah, on DAT, there were more loads for step decks, which was interesting. Now, Texas to Texas is something that I filter out. We do not do Texas to Texas loads because usually what ends up happening, at least in my experience, is you go from a place like Dallas, Texas to Midland and then or El Paso, and then you can't get out to save your life. I'm also very careful about where I send my trucks. Like I refuse to go to the West Coast. It's dead. The roads are bad. It's just a pain in the butt, basically. I refuse to go to the Northeast. I refuse to go to the Southeast because there are no loads there. Georgia, yeah, sometimes if it's Jacksonville, Florida, yeah, if it pays well, that way I can deadhead. But I'm very, very particular. And I have always been particular. And now comparing what was and what is right now, I don't see any load volumes. But the rates, yeah, again, we have been very lucky. I can't say it's the market improving. We have been very lucky with rates this week. No hatred to first generations. The way the last administration opened the borders was wrong. It's depressing. I brake check MAGA drivers daily. Bring your ice pick for those MAGA tires. Yeah, again, you guys are welcome to say whatever, but I'm not going to comment on that if you don't mind, simply because, again, I'm trying to be Switzerland. Possibly shippers are starting to look at more contract freight type because Landstar and police companies still have pretty decent freight rates. Possibly there's also the question of a lot of volume moving by rail. right? Rail has taken a lot of volume from the trucking industry. Trumpet, I can respect not wanting to go into politics here, but the new administration's policies are having a large effect on trucking. It is not possible to separate the two. Tariff, half tank, volume. No. So, no. So, what I mean when I say I'm not going to talk about politics is I'm not going to talk about Republicans versus Democrats, the left versus the right, of course. And something I have noticed, I know I'm doing my job well at remaining neutral because lately, what I have been getting a lot of is under one video, one person accusing me of being on one side, and under the same video, accusing me of being on another side. So I know I'm doing my job well because no one knows. And I don't want anyone to, I just don't want this channel to be about politics. Now, that being said, lately, a lot of news have been, even though they're about trucking, there are political undertones, of course. And I will report on that as it is presented, the facts that are presented. But I will never insert my own opinion into what is happening in the news, if that makes sense. So I will always report on everything. And in terms of the volume, again, I need data. I want facts. I try to make my videos fact-based, right? Not opinion-based. I'm in Spokane, Washington. Someone taught me how to, because I used to say Spokane, Spokane, Washington right now. And the only load I got is going to Sacramento, California, with a 12-hour wait to even pick up. Yikes. What are you on? Reefer, dry van, flatbed, DeMarcus? Uh, Rates and fuel will get better, just takes time. From your comment to God's ears. Warren Buffett warned you pay a very high price in the stock market for a cheery consensus. Interesting. I like Warren Buffett just as a human being. He's an interesting one. I believe he's lived in the same house for decades. I like people who might have a ton of money, but very simple people at heart, humble. That is important. Your information has helped us so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. And I learn from you every day. As I always say, I learn from you guys every day. South Carolina to Wisconsin. Did I miss a comment? No. Thank you for your constant info. I'm going to pull Trump. You're so beautiful. Didn't fully understand the pull a Trump and you're so beautiful, but thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the information. Do you have any program to help new companies to do their company management, like company paperwork for IFTA? Yeah, so I have a carrier course. There is some compliance in it. So one of the things I really, really want to do, because I feel like this is very important and I have received a lot of requests for it. I just, again, didn't have time. I want to do a course on audit. The audit course, the way I see it, I want to do it on compliance, fully compliance, so that you can pass any audit. One thing that we have been very lucky with is that we have always passed any audit. We get one every year because in the state of California, you have to get one. We get one every single year. Thankfully, we didn't have an audit just randomly. Thankfully, because that would mean that we're doing something very wrong. But yeah, I would love to do a compliance course on how to manage the documents, driver qualification file, truck accident file, all of those files, because this is my happy place, right? Documents, organization, data, running numbers. This is my happy place. So I will make a course dedicated to that as soon as I have a little bit more time. I appreciate your channel, although I don't comment much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. What website are you looking at for volumes? So volumes, in terms of the ones that I have talked about in this video, I was looking at Sonar. Sonar is the system under FreightWaves. It's like a dashboard system where you can see everything. But in terms of volumes on the spot market, usually what I look at is truck stop data paired with FTR intel, paired with what DAT is reporting, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Hello, what's the future looking like for new CDL? So, you mean like just a regular CDL non-domiciled? If you're talking about, excuse me, a regular CDL, future. What's the future looking like? Um, Well, I think that if capacity leaves, more opportunities are going to come up, especially for mega carriers. But there's one thing that we have to remember. Insurance. Insurance dictates who you can hire. So a lot of new CDL holders who are fresh out of school, what they come into, like, the problem that they face is that carriers are like, we can't hire you because you're too new. And that's because insurance is telling them, well, we're not going to accept anyone without 2-3 years of experience. So mega carriers would be the entry point. Let me know if I answered your question, because maybe I misunderstood. I do apologize. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Uh, Thank you so much. And now I have to figure out where I, geez, I'm having issues. Hmm. Mhm. What website are you looking? Yeah, it's Sonar. It's Sonar, the ones that I mentioned today. Like, for example, what else do they have? They have in their trade war command center, as they call it, they have the departed ocean volume, inbound ocean volume, cleared container volume, intermodal volumes, truckload rejections, truckload volumes. This is what they have. It's a new system too. They just added it. Mhm. Uh, Big truckers. I will like my wife to learn that part of the business. Yeah, it's very helpful. And I think it's very important if you work with your wife and if she runs back office and you're driving, or the other way around, when it's in the family, if one family member is kind of running back office and dispatching, or one family member is dispatching, one is running back office. Yeah, it's very, very good. And once you learn it, it just becomes easier. You start understanding everything. So yeah, I want to make that course. I just haven't had time yet. It's not complicated why loads are down. People are not spending money right now. Actually, well, yeah, that's true. Excuse me, I don't know what is going on. I know what's going on. Geez, so just to explain, I have asthma, so I have to take steroids. I've had it pretty much half of my life. I have to take steroids, and sometimes it affects everything here. Anyway, it's not complicated why loads are down. Most people are not spending money right now. It's true. Actually, yesterday I was reading about consumer confidence, and I think I saw that 70% of people are worried about the future. So yeah, it could be a very big driver. But spending, from what I have seen about the economy, spending has increased on services, which doesn't help the trucking industry at all, because services is not something you can move in a truck. Hi there. I wonder why no one is talking about the truck accident in Georgia about 3 days ago and killed 8 people. I actually have not even seen it, but to be quite honest, I have been living under a rock, so I will check it out. I will check it out. Are you running flat and stub deck only? How many trucks in your fleet? 3 now. And yes, only open deck trailers. Miranda, you're amazing and so many appreciate your hard work. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That's like the highest compliment for me. I was just telling the OIDA this. The highest compliment for me is when someone says, I have learned something from the videos. It's like, thank God. um, South Carolina to Wisconsin, Wisconsin to New Hampshire, 3 Maine to Atlanta, 10K. Nice. Love it. Um, what am I looking for right now? Okay. Lebanon, Tennessee, can't find a load a whole day. If they pay $2 per mile, you're a lucky dry van. Yeah, again, it looks like Pennsylvania, some of Pennsylvania had a momentary increase for dry vans. The Illinois area, at least last week, from what I have heard, but definitely it's not widespread. Unfortunately, it's not widespread. Thank you, and you're welcome. Hi, Miranda. Thank you for all what you've done. Everyday data, info, everything. Thank you, Ivan. Ivan or Yvonne. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Why this stretch throughout past 4 years? Because a lot of people had credit cards, loans, and some savings, and these resources are depleting now. And I don't think there are many more resources left. Oh my goodness. To figure out why it has taken so long, there's so many factors. There are those PPP loans. Um, there are so many factors. There are PPP loans. There's fraud in the industry. It's a lot of things all together. I think I made a video on it a while back, but I can make a new one once I do a little bit more research to be more up to date. I move soybeans and it's a difficult time. Who's to blame, illegals or Trump? I don't know much about soybeans, although I did hear something about tariffs and soybeans. Again, I the way I operate, because my plate is so full, is I don't even know what's happening in the news. I haven't read regular news like politics, what's happening in the country, in different spheres other than trucking that doesn't affect trucking in some way. I don't know anything about it simply because I don't have time and I just fully focus on what's happening in the industry, what regulations are changing in the trucking industry, what's going on with the market, and then of course running my business. Yeah, so I definitely need to do a little bit more homework on what's happening in general, where we live. Yeah. Are you hiring right now? No. No, no, no. We haven't been hiring for a while. Thank you so much, Raciel. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Thank you. I will look forward for that. You are the #1 channel, but I look in the morning. Thanks for everything. Thank you. I am very, very glad that this channel helps. This is my biggest goal, right? Is to help and to make sure that I am being useful. Yeah, so I'm not hiring right now. No. Thank you, Alex. NAFTA is a huge problem and it started long before non-domiciled CDLs. Need to look into it. Just caught the chat looking like dead heading out of California. Rates stupid cheap. Oh my God, yes. So we haven't been in California for a little bit, not too long, but for a little bit. And the rates are horrific there. But we did lose. So last month, at the end of the month, I lost a whole week with one truck. And they were in Arizona. And I couldn't even take them from Arizona to California or Washington, Nevada, somewhere, Utah, like West Coast to West Coast. There were no rates, like no loads and no rates, really. 67 cents per mile is just ridiculous. Thank you, the almighty writer. New CDL holder about to enter the industry. Advice: are you entering the industry as an owner operator with your own MC or DOT, or are you going to lease on, or are you a company driver? If you're a company driver, probably the biggest luck you'll have in terms of employment at first, unless you search. There are some smaller carriers that might have an insurance that accepts new CDL holders, or they might have fleet insurance, right? Um, but usually it's mega carriers that most often accept new CDL holders because they don't answer to an insurance company. They are self-insured. But I would recommend, if you work for a mega carrier, as soon as you can, move on to a normal carrier, because mega carriers treat their workforce like dirt. I'm not a fan of mega carriers. I'm not a fan of the ATA that represents them. If you guys haven't realized, I can talk about the ATA and mega carriers and how they treat people in their companies and what the ATA is doing. I can talk about it for days. Like, triggers me. So yeah, if you're a new CDL holder leasing on to a carrier, you might be faced with the same issue because you're still under the carrier's insurance. If you're someone who is opening your own company, your own MC, your own DOT, then it's just a question of searching for those folks who will be ready to work with a new authority. I hope that helps. Thank you, my trucking travels. I appreciate it. China canceled their soybean orders amid escalating trade tensions. They were the biggest customers. Thank you. Yeah, see, I live under a rock lately and I have to catch up on the news. Thank you for that. Let's see, where was I? Okay. Oh, there we go. Love your channel. You said you're bilingual. Do you speak Russian? Yes, I speak Russian and I speak French. And thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. How long would it take for me to find out if my medical didn't get accepted? So, actually, in California, what ends up happening is you get, as far as I understand, you get an email saying, I deleted it already, but I did post it. Hold on. Let me find it on my X because I did post about it. I'm sorry about my throat. I can't do anything. Those are steroids. They're being uncooperative. Okay, so one person got either an email or a letter. Thank you for your application for the medical examiner report. Based on our records, your medical examiner's report cannot be updated through the virtual field office at this time. Another person showed how they had their medical card submitted, and it says your application cannot be processed through the virtual field office and has been closed. Your case was closed as the transaction request is not something that can currently be processed through the DMV virtual office. So you would see it, is my point. You would see it. Oops. Yeah, you would see it, that it wasn't processed. And the reason I think they're doing that is because, at least from everything that I have heard, they're trying to get people to come in to the DMV to see what is going on so that they can hole punch the CDL. The downgrading is happening virtually, but some states want to put a hole in the CDL. Yes. Thank you, Mike. How are you? What could I do if a broker doesn't want to give my factoring company the approval on a rate for me to get paid? Why is the broker not giving the factoring company the approval? If the factoring company works with the broker and what is it called? You have the rate confirmation, everything. Do you, because I think what you're talking about is we have that through RTS, waiting for broker validation or approval, where the broker has to actually call RTS and say, yes, this person hauled this load. In that case, usually what I do is I call the broker and say, hey, can you approve it? If the broker is not picking up, I call the accounting. So is that what you're talking about? Very informative. Thank you. Great work. Keep it up. Thank you. Non-domiciled getting hole punched makes me happy. Yeah, they actually get like boom, hole punched. Or I have heard the corner of the actual license is getting cut off. Thank you. Um, Only ice cream and water out of Northeast. Oh my God, we used to love when we had reefers. Ice cream loads were like our cash cow because at that time also the market paid well, but for ice cream loads it paid especially well. We did a lot of ice cream loads. Texas to Texas is good. Just don't go West Texas like Midland. Yeah, Midland, Odessa. Um, yeah, those are the two top of my mind. Um, any thoughts on I apologize. I have to keep muting because it's too loud. Any thoughts on HR 5688 in Congress now? Is that the bill that the ATA put through? It's 688. Funny enough, no, wait, 5688. I put 8688 and it put in Stop Spoonfuls of Fake Sugar Act. I'm like, wait, what? 5688. Yeah, I think it's the one that the ATA put out. So I don't have any thoughts yet because I haven't read through it yet. Again, this is all happening very, very fast, and I am trying to catch up. But for sure, I've just seen snippets on X of people getting really pissed off about it. But I'm the kind of person I need to see it myself to come to my own conclusion. So I don't know. But considering that the ATA put it forth and considering my sentiment towards the American trucking associations, I bet it's bad. Not a fan of them. That's an opinion I'm going to be sharing until the day I die. Don't like the AT. Thank you. Solnishka. Solnishka means sunshine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Uh, she's a one company. She will not pick up or respond. Oh, got it. So she's a small broker and she is not approving. Okay. In that case, if she's not approving, what I have done in the past, not quite the same situations because the brokers that usually needed validation or verification were big brokers, so I could call the accounting department or whatnot. But what I would do is I would file a claim. That's what I have done when a broker did not respond to my factoring company about when they will pay the factoring company. File a claim that's going to move the broker faster. I started filing claims. I'm hiring owner operator and looking for someone to drive my truck. Health issues going to take my medical card, so I'm going to go into brokering and dispatch instead of driving. We run reefers. Guys, if anyone is looking for a position, Brian Stoll is offering a job. Yeah, so as I said, I haven't had a chance to actually read through it. Once I do, I'll make a video. I'll let you guys know. You are so welcome. Oops, there we go. You're so welcome, Mike. So welcome. Yeah, it's amazing what filing a claim does against our bond. Hit like button. Okay, Miranda, always a pleasure to engage in your lives, but as usual, I have food waiting for me. Ribs, mac and cheese, asparagus, and sweet rolls. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Peach cobbler. Oh, see you next video. Bon appetit, Ron. You're probably not here anymore because I'm so delayed with the comments, but bon appetit. And I am just know that I'm very envious right now of your food. What could I do if a broker doesn't want to give my factoring company? Oh, Mike, yep, I replied to that. Wait, so the state of California DOT runs audits every year in motor carriers. So the state of California actually doesn't even keep records of most of the things that they should. Funny thing you mentioned the state of California because they're having a very bad week right now. The FMCSA just pulled, I believe, 40 million from the state of California for not enforcing ELP, and now the state of Florida is suing California. Yeah, California is an interesting animal. Rates are dropping this week. Yes, they are. They are. I don't know. I mean, the rates again, in our experience, but this is just pure luck. Rates have been good because of lucky loads. Just the load comes out that's unlike any other, and there you go. Volumes have disappeared. Do you ever look at market for hopper, bottom, or green? I don't. It's not that I don't. It's just there's no data. Again, I am at the mercy of several different resources that look at the market, and they usually divide it into reefer, dry van, flatbed. Not even step deck, not RGNs, just reefer, dry van, flatbed. And then they what is it called? And then everything else is specialized. And specialized can be so many different things. But if I find more data on other equipment types, I'd love to share it and I will. Thank you, Mr. Bot. Get back in dry van. I'm averaging 3K miles a week, mid and southeast coast. I also don't come home much and don't complain about anything. Look, I would love to go back to dry van for one reason. It's just, especially coming into the winter months where everything is tarp. And I think maybe you guys, maybe I just shared it when I do the load booking videos on my membership only. One of my guys has a shoulder issue. So I haven't booked him a tarp load in a while. So I'd love to like get him to a dry van, but he refuses. He refuses because he feels like there is more potential on an open deck. Yeah, it would be nice not to have to think about tarping and chaining and carrying all of that crap around. Let's see. Being that insurance companies are no longer covering non-domiciled holders, how is that going to affect insurance premiums? So it's not happening yet. It's something that they're talking about. At least I have not heard any instances yet of insurance companies saying that, oh, you have a non-domiciled CDL holder in your fleet, he is not going to be covered. Haven't heard that. I have heard a lot about insurance companies talking about how they will not cover non-domiciled CDL holders going forward simply because it makes sense. If you're an insurance company, right? If I was an insurance company, I wouldn't cover either. And the reason is their CDL can get downgraded at any point. And if it gets downgraded and they don't know and they get into a story, God forbid, yeah, they're going to be at full fault because they're driving without a CDL. Now, in terms of insurance premiums for everyone else, that is a good question. Insurance is an animal that I don't understand fully. My question is, what would happen to insurance premiums if so much capacity left, that they don't have as many people knocking on their door? That is an interesting question, for sure. Thank you, Justin. Do you think those shady Chicago-based companies are hurting because of the crackdown on foreign truck drivers? Very interesting question. Yes, I do. Sorry, I was just looking at something. Do I think they're hurting? Yes, I know for a fact they are. They're hurting a lot because a lot of them, I'm not going to speak for everyone because when we talk about shady Chicago companies, we have an image in our mind. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but I know of a couple of companies from YouTube, from social media. Again, I do speak and read Russian, so I'm able to see what they're talking about. Yeah, they're hurting because a lot of their drivers, number one, a lot of them, a big bulk of their workforce is non-domiciled CDLs. Now, what they are seeing now is that drivers are getting their CDLs downgraded in some instances, but in other instances, drivers are scared to drive because they are afraid that their CDL will get downgraded. That's, yeah, they're hurting, basically. They are. Um, Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention, sorry, as I was trying to find my place in the comments, I saw an interview of one guy, and I don't know what kind of operation he ran, as in I didn't look at his DOT score or anything, but he had a business, a very big business. He's shutting it down right now because of all of this. He said, I only remember like one particular thing he said. He said at the peak, he had huge fleet. At the peak, he was making over 2 million gross per week, and he's shutting it down. Um, Good info. The longer you're in trucking, you learn freight is cyclical. 4 years ago, more freight than you could haul. Now, not so much. It tends to be 5-year cycles. Yeah, I think I agree with you on some level, but not fully, because what is happening for the past 4 years, this is definitely abnormal. And the reason I say this is because people who have been in this industry for 30 years, 40 years, there are folks who are very, very much aware of what the industry was, what it became today. They say this is the worst they have ever seen it. So this is not quite cyclical. This is just a full-blown freight recession. It's seasonal. There are cycles. Usually, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 12 months. The recession usually lasts 12 months. Here we have 4 years, which is crazy. This week was slow. Next week will be busy. The ups and downs in trucking, no big deal. True. Yeah, it's definitely ups and downs. And that's why it's so hard to not, how do I say it? It's not that it's hard to give up. No. I mean, I think I'd give up pretty easily if I could, if I was not so stubborn. But it's hard to lose complete hope because you understand it's like this. So, yeah. Mm. I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah, I know I answered your question, but I see you've been posting and posting. Guys, just so you know, I'm very behind the comments. Like right now, I'm reading comments that were put out 20 minutes ago. That's how delayed I am. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop answering duplicate questions that I have answered, because this video is going to be recorded and posted. I'm just going to go through new questions, not comments. If you guys don't mind, I do apologize. My company pays on dispatched miles, yet on some loads, the actual miles to get a load to the destination is a lot more than what dispatched. I got cheated 100 miles. Yeah. So the question of legality, I mean, morally, it's wrong. And this is what a lot of companies do. They sometimes pay zip code to zip code. Sometimes they pay using PC Miler. Yeah, a lot of companies cheat that way. In terms of legality, I'm not an attorney. I would just say it's a crappy thing to do. And that's why I always encourage, if you're working on cents per mile, what we used to do when we hired on a cents per mile basis is on Motive, you can get an export of the odometer start and end in a specific period. So what I would send my guys is, for example, they get paid on Friday morning. I would send them miles from Friday morning last week to Thursday evening when they stopped. And I would send them that report, and then they would check against their odometer that they see in the truck to make sure it's completely transparent. And it would calculate the total miles. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of companies are really shady. I tried to work my truck in 2 companies using their DOT. I come to find out owner-operators can do that. A company can have many owner-operators, but an owner-operator can only work for one company. I don't think that's quite correct. An owner-operator, a real owner-operator, to be considered an independent contractor, you must have the ability to work with other companies as well. Now, is it the industry standard? No. So, yeah, I see your point. Um, since I know you're going to get it, congratulations on 130,000 subscribers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Not there yet, but I appreciate it. We always learn something from your videos. Greetings from Turkey. Hi. Thank you. Uh, yeah, see, I can't. I have to read every comment. I feel bad. I know at some point you switch your fleet over to flatbed. Will you ever open up to different sectors in the future? I don't know. Right now, I am in survival mode and just in preserving what I have mode. I can't even. Look, I have a dream, and the dream is very, very big. But right now, I don't even allow myself to think about my goal because right now I'm focusing on adapting to the current situation. But ideally, I would love to have a trucking company that has all types of trailers. Yeah. China did not follow through on their agreement to buy soybeans from the US. That's why soybeans are down. Gotcha. Thank you. You're too cute to work in trucking. See, I disagree. I feel like this is the perfect environment for me. I love trucking. Um, a company can have more at the same time using one limitation for us to hassle. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna go pretty quickly. Uh, thank you. Stop accepting cheap freight. Yes, words of gold. Hi, run, brother. Anti-American Association. Yeah. Anti-American Trucking Association. Yeah, they should add another A. I think Gord said it on X too. They should add another A. Two A's, TA. Are you offering mentorship? I am not. No. CH Robinson RateCon didn't give specific monetary amount of late fee deduction. They stated that they will deduct a percentage from the rate. They charged me $200 fee. It seems expensive. Yeah, I hate the worst part is when they don't mention it in the rate con, so you don't know what to expect. Just crappy. How can we remove an out of service DOT inspection? Unless you didn't do anything, so you can actually, okay. If you have an out of service DOT inspection that you feel was not correct, like there was something the officer missed and it was just inaccurate, you can go to data queue system, and you can contest it. But once data queue makes a decision, that's it. It's going to stay. So yeah, you can always contest it. We got an out of service order a few days ago for a tire that was leaking. I'm not going to contest it because the tire was actually leaking. It sucks when it happens though. And we were doing so good this year. Like all of our inspections were clean, and this one was like a slap in the face. China is making this drop. What do you think about carriers sending rate confirmations redacted to shippers because brokers do not want to release financial information? Carriers sending rate confirmations to shippers? Can you clarify? Because usually a carrier sends a rate confirmation to the driver, owner, operator, independent contractor. What do you mean sending redacted rate confirmations to shippers from a carrier? Thank you. Yeah, so again, I have to look into it. Hi, stuck in Mobile, Alabama. Da, 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 da. Love what you do. I depend on your information every day. Thank you for everything. Thank you. I'm so glad it helps. And I do apologize for not making a market update this week. Ah, I do feel bad when I don't have time, but I will make it, and I will look at data from this week as well just to compare it to next week. What do you think about Montgomery truck lines going out? Will that increase the flatbed loads out there for you guys? I don't think so. I don't think that is going. It's sad that such a company went out. I don't think it's going to have that much of an effect on capacity, though. Today sucked. Yes. Get a release for quick pay. Uh, you do live streams? Yep, I do live streams. Where do you know Russian language? Well, I'm half Ukrainian, half Georgian, right? My first language, unlike there is a misconception here. My first language is English. That's actually the first language I learned, and I studied all my life in an American school. But being half Ukrainian, I actually don't know Ukrainian, but I do know Russian. Sorry guys, give me one moment, please. Just need to check on one of my guys to make sure he's all good. Sorry, please bear with me for one moment. Okay, good, 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 good. Awesome. Everyone's good. As a trucking insurance agent, thank you for all the information. I relay all of your stats to my clients after every episode of TMS. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. um, what about filing claim against RXO? Oh, okay. So claims about accessorials, detention, TONU, yeah, layover. In my experience, unfortunately, unless the rate confirmation has that accessorial listed in the rate confirmation, like you see the line haul rate, let's say 2,000, and then on top of it, detention, $100. Unless that happens, the bonding, the insurance company doesn't pay. It's the sad. This is what I have experienced. Now, maybe someone has a different approach to how to get paid. If there is, if in the rate if in the rate confirmation it doesn't have that additional accessorial, but I have never been able to without getting an updated rate con. I ran 1,000 this week. Yes, there is no volume in California. I mean, there is no volume anywhere. Right now, it's frustrating beyond belief because every day I log in, I'm the kind of person where hope dies last. So every morning when I log into the load board, I am just hoping that it's going to be fantastic. We're going to see so many loads. The rates are going to be great. The views on each load are going to be low or be the first to view. And every day I log in, I'm like, what is this? What is this shit? Yeah, it's hard. No loads in PA. No loads anywhere, it seems. How do you have a niche or run every lane trailer type? What do you mean? I didn't fully understand. Work for Super Ego, and so far I'm not seeing any change in their practices. What do you think about companies using ELDs which can be manipulated? What do you think about trucks passing emission tests? So ELDs that can be manipulated, I mean, it's not good. What can I say? It's bad. Emission tests, you mean in California? In California, the the clean truck check, is that the one you're talking about? We just got a notification. Oh, you have to do another one because it's semi-annual, I believe. And it feels like we just did one. And I think it's crap. It's not cheap. The business is hotshot and car boilers. Must have missed something. I'm sorry. Insurance premiums. Insurance premiums will stay the same regardless of capacity. It's not dependent on amount of drivers. It's dependent on loss ratio for each state zip code. Yeah, but statistically speaking, the reason insurance premiums went up, I will argue this, and I might be missing something, but the reason insurance premiums went up so high and the reason insurance companies tightened their belts, it happened right after COVID. Right after COVID and during 2021, capacity started flooding into the industry. Statistically speaking, you are going to see more crashes, more insurance companies are paying out, nuclear verdicts are destroying insurance companies, and then we have fraud. I already explained, and again, this gets my blood boiling, the crash that we had. The amount this company that crashed into us has been in business for about a month before they caused that crash. The amount of money their insurance ended up paying us is more than it costs for the one truck for the year. So you know for a fact that that insurance company did not get that money from this carrier. This carrier shut down right after the crash as well. So insurance companies, why the premiums went up is partially because of the amount of capacity that came in, the amount of statistically crashes that started happening. Yeah. I don't even know why I went off on a tangent. Bones! Hi, I'm on time and I'm watching. And I like the uppercut. Have a great weekend. Love it. Love it. All right, guys, I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker because I have another maybe 2 minutes left and I'm slow as always with the comments. So let's see if I didn't answer something. Let me just pick some questions I didn't answer yet. Could you let us in on the broker that you use the most? Is it TQL? Haha. I haven't used TQL in a very, very long time. They're blocked. They're blocked on my load board. Their number is blocked. They're on my DNU list. I do not work with TQL. Which broker I use the most? I don't. I mean, I am very careful. Actually, this is a very good learning moment. Considering the fact that brokers are right now getting downgraded and factoring, it seems like every single day. Like brokers are losing their ability to, or factoring companies are no longer factoring with brokers because brokers are having financial difficulty. Considering that, I actually do not recommend working with one broker a lot because that means you're putting all your eggs in one basket. And that reminds me of what happened with Convoy, where certain people relied on Convoy so much that they were out tens of thousands of dollars once Convoy suddenly went out. So I do not recommend working with one broker a lot. Try to spread it out because if one person goes out in this market, the loss is not going to be as much as if you relied on that one person for all of your loads. And the thing is with the claims, the bonds, all the carriers are going to be filing on that bond and some of them are not going to get paid out. So actually be careful. Be careful with working only with one broker or with few. Try to spread it out a little bit unless you are 100% confident that the broker you are working with has a clean record. And it's not just the credit score right now and days to pay right now. Look at the history and look how it changed. Is the days to pay increasing? If so, why? Are they starting to pay slower? Are they having cash flow issues? Start asking yourself those questions. Actually, really like that you asked that comment. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna go down to the bottom because I don't want to miss anyone. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. I am long-winded. Everyone knows that. Do you speak Georgian? No, I don't, but I can say gamar joba. Rogo rachat. That's it. Meshen mikvarhat. That I also know. Gabar joba means hello. Rogo rachat, I think, means how are you? And meshen mikvarhat is I love you. But yeah, no, I never learned Georgian. Let's see. I actually like this. I don't know why, but I hear these horror stories about TQL all the time, but I've never experienced it. In fact, I've gotten some of the best paying loads from them and they tend to pay quickly. Agreed. So TQL is actually one of those brokers who has 28 days to pay and they pay within those 28 days. Absolutely. Their credit is good. The reason people don't work with them is, first of all, most of the time they offer really, really cheap loads, but it's not so much that as the way they treat you. And I used to rely on TQL a lot. But then after a while, I realized number one, they do not let my guys sleep because one load has 250 people working on it. And even though the guy is tracking, they all want to call him with check calls. And that just drove me nuts. I had this one guy who's like, I can't sleep, do something. So I finally told TQL, I'm like, don't call him anymore. If you have a question, call me, just wake me up if you have to. And I actually did that. They would wake me up. But that pissed me off. And then the thing that made me stop working with them is that they screwed us over one too many times with the detention, layover, the accessorials. Basically, they caused a situation where they promised we were loaded late, so we had to, and this was a flatbed load. We were loaded late, so we had to deliver late. And they said it's not a problem at all. As long as you deliver on Friday, it's okay. And then it turns out on Friday, the receiver wasn't working. We lost the whole weekend and they just disappeared. They refused to pay us for all of that time lost. I do not work with people like that. You screw me over. My father always told me that in business, you can lie once. You can lie, but it's going to happen only once. And that kind of stuck with me. You lied to me. If you screw me over, it's done. I don't care. TQL is one of the best brokers out there. um, most truckers have never done the actual cost per mile. So I recommend, most people can't count. They say, so on my website, there's a free cost per mile calculator. If you need to know your cost per mile, please, please, please just go to that cost. Did I just get disconnected? I know. Please, please, please. On my website, there is a free cost per mile calculator. You just plug in your numbers. You can email them to yourself and you will know at least what your cost per mile is. And on top of it, there's a load profit calculator, which is also free. Depending on the numbers you receive from the cost per mile calculator, you can then plug them in for any load that you're planning to do to just see how much are you actually making or losing on that load. Very, very important metric to know. Are you on TikTok? So I tried. And it doesn't go into my brain. I'm on Instagram though. I am on Instagram and I post shorts there. A lot of shorts. And my Instagram, if anyone wants to know, is I forgot myself. Let's see. Okay, it's trucking.made.successful. I am on Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, guys. Anyway, I'm going to answer this question. What do you look for on MBR and PSP when hiring a driver? Seems like they're all horrible. Well, I don't agree with they're all horrible. No. When I used to hire, I would look at what insurance was it, because I was at the mercy of the insurance. So I always tell this story. For me, the most important thing is that not a lot of tickets, no accidents, but there was a situation where insurance told us you cannot hire anyone less than 2 years of experience, et cetera, et cetera. So we found a guy who had amazing experience, but he had one ticket speeding in a school zone and insurance denied him. So the way I looked at MBRs was the same way that insurance would look at them. Would insurance be okay with this person? Yeah. I have stories to tell about people who have applied. I mean, it made me realize that people from all walks of life are on this channel, and it's incredible to hear stories. Yeah. I'm not going to say much, but I don't want to put anyone on the spot. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to bounce. I do apologize to those whose comments and questions I have not answered. I do my best in these lives, but again, long-winded. And yeah, If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. But as always, I'm going to say, especially in the last month, my inbox overfloweth. So I try to get back to people as soon as I can. Yeah. We also have a Discord channel, although I have been kind of slacking on that too. Again, for the past 2 weeks, it's a nightmare what is happening. So I will see you guys soon. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe out there. That's the most important. And hopefully next week is a little bit easier than this one, especially in terms of volumes. See you guys in the next video. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll write my Instagram here. I saw that one before I clicked out. Hold on. You know what? I'll post the link to it. Give me one sec. Okay, so this is my Instagram. And if anyone is interested, because on X, I talk about things that I usually don't talk about. Because YouTube, as you guys know, YouTube deleted one of my videos that was all public information, but mass reporting is a very interesting thing. So that's my X. So I'm able to talk about other things on X that I can't talk on YouTube. So you can follow me there. But yeah. Anyway, guys, see you in the next video. Have a good weekend. Bye.